All right, guys, let's figure out how to find motivated sellers. Basically, how to find great deals in your real estate investing. Because as we know, as investors, we don't want to pay, the price, the market value. We don't want to pay over that, which a lot of people do. We're investors. We make sure that we buy the property for even lower, and finding a motivated seller is the best way to do that. And the reason why, they're motivated. They want to sell the property. You don't want to find somebody that's actually going to be sitting on a property and saying, I can wait until I get a high priced offer. We don't want to find those people. They're good, but it's so much better when somebody's saying, you know what, just take this property off my hands. And so today we're going to be talking all about how we can find motivated sellers. And this is the first of 3 different videos of all these different ways. We actually have 30 different ways for you to find motivated sellers. These are tried and true methods that we use. Charles uses, I use, all my students use it. And so, hey guys, Dustin Heiner here with Master Passive Income. And I want to show you how to quit your JOB, that just over broke job, by investing in real estate rental property so you never ever have to work a job again. All right, and with me, I have Charles Rose Jr. on, one of my students who's doing a phenomenal job, just closed on 4 properties this last month and got them with motivated sellers, got the price down like by 20-30%. Charles, great to have you on the show.
Dustin, it is always amazing to be on the show with you. And I'm so excited about this topic today because so many people, Dustin, I even hear some of the students, they ask questions. How can we find deals in this seller's market? How can we find deals right now? And so I love buying properties from motivated sellers, Dustin.
You save so much more money. And in fact, when we buy in properties, we want to make money on our passive income. We want to make money in appreciation, all that good stuff. But also when you buy the property, that's when you make your money, because there's a saying, it says, you make your money when you buy the property. You realize your money, basically you put in your pocket when you sell it. And at the same time, the lower we buy the house for, the more money we have in passive income every single month, which is how we feed our families. And if you want to get started, get my real estate investing course absolutely for free. Go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course or check the link in the description for that. All right, now let's jump into the best ways that you can find motivated sellers. Remember, there are 3 videos. In this one video, we're going to give you 10 fantastic strategies, and you want to stick around for the 10th one. It is you would never think of this. And so let's jump right into it. So Charles, what's our first way to find motivated sellers?
All right, Dustin. So the first way is tax deed sale properties. These are easy to get. It's so easy to get a list of these from the county and state.
Yeah, so we're jumping into, everybody knows we can use a realtor. Anybody can get a realtor and find somebody to actually get you motivated sellers. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to show you some really ones you might not think of. So the first one being a tax lien or a tax deed on a property. Basically, they need to pay their taxes. And what's amazing is, I've done this many times, go to the courthouse steps of the particular county that you're trying to buy in, and you literally do an auction to buy the property, pennies on the dollar. It's fantastic. So if you go and research, basically just go to the county and look up their tax liens and tax deeds. Just call them and ask them, how do I get a list of all the properties that are for sale with tax lien and tax deed? They will give that list and they'll tell you exactly when to show up because they want to sell it. They're civil servants. They're like, we don't care. Just go ahead and buy it. So you want to get that list. It'll give you some great ones where people are owing, let's say, $30,000 in taxes, but the home might be worth $300,000. You might be able to buy it for a lot less, like drastically, like, pennies on the dollar.
So the second one, Dustin, is social media. Facebook investor groups. I love this one, Dustin. I have personally used Facebook groups, and you may be thinking, how do I find these Facebook groups? All you have to do is, if you live in Charlotte, search Real Estate Charlotte. If you live in Ohio, Real Estate Ohio on Facebook, and you will see a ton of real estate groups that you could find, and you can jump into those groups, network with other investors, and find deals. You could find motivated sellers from lots of deals in those Facebook investor groups.
And I wholeheartedly agree. That's the easiest thing you can do, but nobody really does it. And nobody really tells you that you should do it. So find some real estate investor groups, but even just get in the city. Like, just look up maybe people hanging out in Charlotte, North Carolina. Like, they're just hanging out. There are people that like to do things. You never know. If you start, it's all about networking. It's all about knowing people. And as you get to know them, you just tell them, yeah, I'm an investor. I buy real estate. And then you never know when somebody's going to pop up and say, you know what? My grandpa, he passed away. My parents just want to sell the house. Are you interested in buying it? You just want to network with as many people as possible. Facebook groups are so fantastic. Now, the next one, I love this. Now, I live in Phoenix, and we have the basically an entire city of retirees. It's called Sun City, and they're basically, you have to be 65 years or older. The sales tax in Sun City is only 6.5% because there's no schools. There's like basically it's just old people living there. Is an easy way to say it. But they had to sell their old house to move into this new one. They might be thinking, you know what? We just want to get rid of the house. It's maybe they've already bought this second house and they need to move out and they need to sell it as fast as possible. So finding retirees, basically people that are moving out of a bigger house because their kids are all grown up and they want a smaller house. Those are fantastic ways to find, when you're looking for retirees, just let every single person know that you're an investor. And on top of that, if you are even going to like where the old folks actually go and hang out, if you go meet with them and go meet with people, it's all about networking. And so try to find as many retirees as possible or ones that are getting towards retirement because they're going to be great, great deals. And they're going to have a lot of equity left in the property.
All right, Dustin. And the next one is rental agents and property managers, Dustin. Man, I just love this one too because, a lot of times these agents, Dustin, and the property managers, they know who wants to get rid of their property. One of my property manager the other day, he literally called me up and say, "Hey, I have this client who's trying to get rid of the property. This guy, he died, and his wife and daughter, they're trying to sell the property, and the property was worth about probably like 85,000, and they wanted to get rid of it for like 54,000." So it was like,
That's
man,
amazing.
yeah, they were motivated. They wanted to quickly liquidate his estate because they were in a financial bind, and so and you can help them because maybe they only bought the property for 10,000, 20,000, and buying it for 54,000, they're still making a profit, and you're making a good deal too.
Absolutely. And what's great is your property managers know other investors, and other investors want to sell properties when they want to move into a different property, a bigger, better property, or do a 1031 exchange. It happens that they know people who are investors.
And the next one is networking. Networking is so important. And I heard someone say something before, and I believe this. Real estate is a relationship business. So it's all about building relationships. You can network in person and online. So don't make an excuse for pandemics. You can do it online. You can connect with other investors online. You can join different groups. And as you join these groups, you're going to find people, they're going to be talking about, hey, I know this, my neighbor's going through something, maybe a divorce, maybe they need some quick cash, maybe whatever it is. And we're going to talk about some, divorces later on. But, network, people are going to be talking about it.
It's absolutely true. And I believe in the statement that says your net worth, basically how much you have, your net worth is your net work. How many people actually know that you're an investor? I know when I quit my job and told everybody, yes, I'm absolutely an investor, I had so many people wanting me to either sell their property or buy them. They're trying to sell it to me or rent my properties to them or basically just give me money to buy more properties because as you're an investor, people will want to be around you. So network as much as you can. And as you're doing that, you're going to find a lot of great properties because people are going to realize, hey, this Dustin guy's, he buys properties. So let me bring my property to him. My aunt needs to sell it really, really fast. And so let's bring it to him. So the next one would be real estate ads. And you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I could actually put ads together. Well, if you think about it, those bandit signs, those, if you drive anywhere in a city and you see on the telephone poles a bandit sign, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But the bandit signs that are put on the poles that say, we buy houses cash fast. That's advertising. So think of ways that you can do advertising. I know you can even do advertising on late night TV, just saying, hey, we buy properties. It's so easy to, when you think about it, that just creating an ad to let as many people know that you're an investor as possible is really going to help you as you're finding motivated sellers. What do you think, Charles?
Yeah, and I would add to that too, Dustin. I love those ways you mentioned, and I keep touching back on online too, Dustin, because I feel like this pandemic kind of changed the whole way we do business for a lot of us. So look at those banded signs, but also use Google, use search engines, search for certain words like motivated sellers or divorce seller or owner finance and must sell. Search these certain words online to help you find those real estate ads too. So I would just add that to it, Dustin, too, just so our listeners could you tap into some online strategies.
That's great. Now, I know you guys want to get to the number 10, but we got a couple more for you before we get to number 10, because number 10 is fantastic. We buy properties all the time from number 10. And the next one is notices about lawsuits, or could be a divorce or anything like that. But basically, a lawsuit is happening. And what happens, I'll give you something specific. Let's say it's a divorce. In a divorce, they got to sell the property because they're splitting up their property. Maybe one doesn't want to buy it, or they both don't want to buy it, or one's thinking, you know what, I want to get out of that house because my husband is like, it reminds me of my husband. I want to get out. They want to sell that property. And so they're looking to just offload it very, very quickly. So look for lawsuits. Maybe there's a bankruptcy or something like that. Look for lawsuits as well. And so if you go to the county or the courts, you should be able to find in the civil area, you should be able to find a list of any new lawsuit cases coming up, and you'll be able to hopefully reach out to these people.
The next one is judgments and lien properties. And you can find these at the public, county, or city records. You can find different tax liens, HO liens. Dustin, have you run into any investors, or have you personally used any of these?
Yeah, I have. I actually, I'll be completely honest, I've used those. I haven't actually bought any other than through a wholesaler. So here's another great way, not necessarily finding motivated sellers, but finding great properties. I used a wholesaler. The wholesaler used this in order to get a really good deal on the property. It made me a great deal that I just couldn't help but buy it, because even though it made this wholesaler money, he found it through this process, and I was able to buy it at like at least 20%, if not 30% below market value.
That's awesome, Dustin, and that's why we love wholesalers so much, because they literally do all the work for you. They will go to the courts. They will search these public and county records. They do all the work for you and bring this property to you at a significant discount. So that is awesome. Tapping into wholesalers is awesome. And the next point is local fast food places. Who would ever thought about that? I mean, have you ever gone to a restaurant or fast food place and you see all those cards in the front, or even advertisements up in those restaurants? This is another good way that you can find motivated sellers at these places. This is something that sometimes we don't even think about. This is something that's there all around us. It's another good way to find motivated sellers.
And the last one, I know you've been waiting for this, the last one. Now, imagine if you had a place that you can find that actually does the entire transaction. They already know who the seller is. They already knew who the buyer is. They also know that a deal has fell out of contract, and they are already on top of everything. They already know the realtors, they already know the buyers and sellers, and at the same time, they could literally reach out to you. Wouldn't it be fantastic if you found somebody that actually was in the middle of all that? Well, you absolutely can. And so Charles has actually done this, and it's with title companies.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is something that, and when I did this, Dustin, I wasn't even thinking about that I could find, a motivated seller, or whatever I need, like private lenders. So I was just talking to my title agent one of these days, just letting him, we were just catching up, letting him know where I was, and letting him know that I'm looking to grow my portfolio. I'm an investor, growing my portfolio, looking for private lenders, looking for motivated sellers. And he was like, man, I know a ton of these people. And he just started like shooting me, names, contacts, and everything. And it's awesome because, those 4 deals, Dustin, that I purchased last month was through connections through my title company. All 4 of those deals, I was able to fund the property through the connection from my title agent, even able to find properties through my title agent. So it is just amazing to tap into this unknown resource, Dustin. I love it.
And I would so appreciate if you just hit that like button. YouTube loves it when you do. You'll share with lots of people. Help me out. So I appreciate if you do that. And we buy motivated properties all the time. These are just 10 ways. Watch the next video where there's 10 more ways. And this is the first of 3 videos. We're going to give you 30 ways to find motivated sellers. Check the description for all of those links for the other videos. But we'll see you guys in the next one.